Good morning all, and indeed it's very difficult to speak after Dr. Batra speaks, So all the preparation that I may have done for this keynote, he has already covered in 15 minutes time. Thank you, Dr. Batra, for actually capturing it so well. I think you're starting off with facilities management as a domain, and believe me, majority of the professional, my colleagues who are over here, they're very excited. They're very excited to be here, and I think one of the structured platforms which will give us a voice, which will give us an opportunity to interact, which will give us an opportunity to share knowledge, I think we will be looking forward to it. One of the most important parts that you touched was around a boardroom seat, and believe me, that's one of the biggest struggle for majority of us staying over here or who are right now over here. So thank you once again for picking that up, and thank you Mr. Tyagarajan and Mr. Bharadwaj. I have got so many old colleagues, current colleagues who are here. It's indeed a privilege and an honor to be here and sharing some of my thoughts. So today, my thought was to build around some of the facts that we have been deliberating about. I'll try and stick to the timelines which have been given, which is 20 minutes, and I'll make sure that I do justice to it. So I'll quickly cover on this, but I don't think so that it's relevant that I go right now because we'll be going across through these slides. So first, a brief journey about myself. I manage the real estate services for Marsh & McLennan in the country. Started off from a very small town, did my schooling from Chhatarpur. I don't know, majority of you people would be knowing Khajuraho, and that's where is my belonging. And then I moved to Dehradun, did hotel management, from hotels, moved into facilities, various organizations, and today it is where I am. Yeah, it has been a great journey, and one of the reasons, obviously there is a personal bit of me also which is on this slide. Why is it that I'm showing this slide? I think majority of us, we have interacted well. I think this is the reason. This is the reason. Facilities management as an alternate career. I think majority of us as professionals who are sitting in this room, this was never the first choice. Never the first choice. So Dr. Batra, thank you for making sure that we are able to elevate the platform or the profession in such a manner that we are able to bring in pride to this profession. We need professionals who are committed to this cause. We need professionals who are there in this journey. We need grade A people. We don't need only those people who are looking at it as an alternate career or somewhere that they could not do this, they could not do, that's why they are here. So thank you once again. And here it is. So yes, I will cover a little bit about the growth, although majority of you are aware of facilities management. I think as a domain is definitely dependent on lot of growth story that India has. And India, if I look at, and these are all nothing that comes from me, it is only a assimilation of the data that I could gather, right? If you look at the economic purview, the way the GDP growth rate is, you will see India and China, they are anchoring the global growth. If you look at the GST collections, in today's April has been the highest, and if you look at year on year, it has been going very, very strong. So if I look at the high frequency indicators, which is GST as well as the PMI for both manufacturing and services sector, they clearly indicate that our path of growth is very, very sturdy. Another way to look at it, IT industry booming up. Till April it has been very, very good, right? We have got some of the Gartner's report which actually tell us the story of how resilient our IT story is. And something that we are directly connected, majority of the people in the FM services domain, we work in the corporate real estate. And this is a story, 840 million square feet size of corporate real estate in India, which is grade A only. I'm not talking of grade B and C, which would take this number to very, very different level. We had 71.7 million square feet of area which was leased last year, which is the highest up to date. And you can give a round of applause to all of you who have been managing it, by the way. We had a record supply, 51.7 million square feet. As far as the GDP is concerned, 7% growth. And believe me, one of the strongest sector that is coming out is the flex. All of us know of it. 106,000. That means 106,000 seats that we have actually leased out the last year. So I think this is the growth story, and apart from that, I'm not talking of residential, I'm not talking of the property management, etc. It is pure FM or the integrated facilities management, as we call in the sectors which are predominantly in corporate services. Yes, there is a shift in today's context. What we have been witnessing over last couple of decades, last few years, I think there has been a shift, or there is a defined shift as we speak. So I am sure majority of our friends over here, they know what has been the traditional delivery model as far as IFM was concerned. That energy, sustainability, building operations, employees. So basically hard services and the workplace services or the soft services. We would typically divide that, and that's how those service delivery would happen. There will be engineering, HR, IT, HSC, quality, finance, sourcing. All of them would be getting together and supporting all of it. I think this is how the entire delivery structure has been till date. I'm not again going into the details because all of you know that. Now, I think the major shift that is coming in over a period of time is around the fact that how is it that we are calibrating with the future. There have been I have been able to identify 6 distinct areas over here. Well-being is a focus right now. ESG is a strong consideration. Recalibration of space, how are we going to use it? Return to office, I think post-COVID, this is one of the most important considerations for us. Evolving location strategy, rethinking layouts, I think all of it has become so important. Now, if I look at some of the common challenges that all of us as professionals, the organizations which are here, they are looking at it, that in terms of the delivery of facilities management as a service to the organization, how is it going, or what are the common challenges? One of the major ones that we see for people who are handling the large portfolios, for people who are handling small portfolios, I think one is inconsistent strategy. I think this is something which has been disturbing us. Second, value for money. Majority of the times we are neither able to convince our stakeholders, neither we are convinced ourselves about the value of money. Third part is governance and management. How does this entire structure, and we go across to lot of organizations, lot of companies, structure a contract, do multiple things, but I think we struggle over there. Quality controls, I think that's a challenge, and that may be related to the fact that maybe we are not getting those kind of manpower which is there. We are not able to attract the kind of talent that we are supposed to have in this particular domain. And non-standardized service, I think this is also a big challenge for us. Communications confidentiality, right? Gone are those days where we would use the postcard to say pranam and then we would do everything, and that's how. Gone are those days. As far as when we are working in multinational organizations, we know what GDPR is, we know the issues around privacy, we know multiple other things. So confidentiality, and specifically when you are getting a partner on board, this is one big challenge. The other part is around communication. How do we get to communicate with our stakeholders, our partners get to communicate with us, and that's how I think these challenges. So I think common challenges, and there may be, this is only to enlist a few, which I could say. I think this list can go on and on and on. So now looking at this, I think Dr. Batra mentioned integrated. Yes, that's the way. We started working on something called integrated portfolio management. So various organizations who are specifically in the field of facilities management or in the field of delivery of corporate services to various organizations, they have started working on that model, where it is not only facilities management, it is an overall service portfolio which is being delivered. And how is it delivered? So all these things around, whether it is facilities, transactions, project, capital markets, consulting, intelligence, occupancy, lease, energy, all of them gets woven into one particular bouquet, and they are all outcome driven. So there are multiple advantages of getting into the integrated FM as a service delivery model. I go on to the next part. Yes, I think this is where majority of us would agree that how is it that the focuses are being changed today. The focus in terms of, I've just taken maybe top 6 of the line items. How is it around operational excellence? What is around the workforce, digitization, continuous improvement, and financial prudence? In terms of yesterday, when we look at operations, we would have dedicated site teams, there were schedule-based services. Now, what has been happening, which is the new normal or the post-COVID world, things are different. Predictive engineering, IoT, and long-term planning. I think these are some of the aspects that we have been looking at. Workforce. I think earlier, social, community culture, all of it was impacting. We would have only and only on-site collaboration, but then what is it today? Today it is changing. We have, interestingly, lot of us, we have been experimenting. We are creating new positions to enhance the experience of our colleagues. So we have gone way beyond only the typical service models. So engagement, experience ambassadors, majority of things like that is happening. There is obviously a blend of face-to-face interactions together with virtual interactions. All of it is being delivered in that manner. As far as digitization was concerned, earlier we were integrating things, only looking at it. We were looking at how do we digitize registers for that matter, how do we digitize checklists for that matter. Now it goes around the other thing. How do we use the data? How do we make sure that touchless technologies are incorporated? What are the virtual learnings? All those learnings are taken care of. Continuous innovation. I think this has been one of the forefront. We have been, as an industry, growing over a period of time. We have grown over a period of time. We have learned a lot from what we have been doing earlier. But then in today's scenario, I think we are again learning, right? We are saying agile workplaces. How do we embrace that change? How do we make sure that the facilities management is delivered in such a manner so that the agile workplace model is successful? Interestingly, we are looking at innovators, we are looking at various partnerships with various organizations to make sure that we are able to deliver what is expected out of us. So I think that's a big change. Earlier, in terms of financial prudence, it was only focused on how could we bring down the cost. Today, I think it is changing a little. We have been looking at how is it that we are bringing the best out of what we are spending, and I think that's a major difference as far as our models are concerned. Okay, now I'll share with you some of the indicators that I think are very, very important. If I look at today's workplace, it is changing, it is all evolving. Future of work, the way our industry has been working, the way service deliveries have been working. Now with the new ways of working, the hybrid ways of working, the workplace is constantly changing. The ask that we have been given by our stakeholders, by our businesses, is definitely differing on every passing day, right? Collaborative workplace, hybrid modes of working. I think we have to work towards ensuring all these aspects are met, they are delivered. Wellness, as you mentioned, post-COVID world, wellness has been a huge, huge focus for all of us. Everything that we do, everything that we execute today is somewhere or the other connected to the wellness of the individuals or the employees who are working over here. So I think wellness has been the big focus. Real estate analytics. I think as far as our balance sheets are concerned, the biggest spend is, the manpower. The second biggest spend is what we manage, and of which is real estate. So I think how do we leverage our real estate to our advantage? How do we make sure that the organizations get benefited from the real estate that are being used? How do we do that? I think a lot of the analytics is now in place, and I think we are continuously evolving again. Technology that is going to aid us. Big data is going to aid us. AI is all going to aid us. Sustainability roadmap. Again, post-COVID world, this is again of a big, big focus for all of us. How do we work towards our net zero commitments? We have seen how COVID disrupted the entire thing, and majority of us sitting in the room, pre-COVID, we would never believe that there could be anything that could stop us from going outside. There could be anything that could just bring the cities to a halt, the world to a halt, but then that happened, and that's where this focus around wellness and sustainability has continuously been increased. And D&I, again, a big focus for all of us. It's a challenge, in fact, getting employable manpower. I'm only talking of facilities management as a domain. It has been a big focus from an organization standpoint, but for us as facility management professionals, I think we still need to imbibe, we still need to get people over there. And last, I think today we are working in a world wherein the models are getting customized every day. The delivery models, and I have got a lot of friends coming in from that side of the table when I say that, obviously, service delivery models. So service delivery models, they have been changing. They are they are customized every passing day. And here is it. So if I look at the traditional model, they have been moving towards more of a digital delivery. Maybe and lot of these, lot of times I say it may be a fad also. Proactive, predictive, data driven delivery models, but all these models are today are getting actualized. We are now working on it. Some of the organizations are working on partial things, some of the organizations are working on a complete different kind of a model. So I think the way the facilities management is working on, it is changing. It is changing the dynamics, and it is working on the basis of what organization is looking at. And again, I'm not going into the details, but the idea was to give a flair of how is it changing. And interestingly, when I speak to some of my friends in the industry, they say this is only a part of it. We have got multiple more models. What is it that you want? Earlier it used to be one model and you are supposed to be delivering on that model. Now there are multiple models which are futuristic, and our friends are working on it. And these are maybe some of the models that I just had crafted on. I've just learnings from the industry. There are occupancy linked models which are now in place. There is increased FM outsourcing. So organizations focus on more and more outsourcing to make sure that we are able to get what is expected, and also on cost optimization. Interestingly, another one which I came to know was how do they blend fixed and the variable cost in such a manner so that there are flexible commercials which may be applicable for organizations. There are customized KPIs. So organizations want to measure what they want to measure, and they want to ignore what they want to ignore. So there are models around that. So here we see, and again, I'm just reharping from what I said earlier. There are multiple collaborations or partnerships which organizations are entering into their space so that they can deliver themselves. They can deliver the kind of expectations that is there by the organizations. And last, there are models which are there wherein organizations and the partners, they are coming together, they are making investment to make sure that they deliver what is essential for the organization. So this is the way the entire journey is shifting, and that's how. So just wanted to share this with you, and with this, I'll just come to the end of my presentation. So thank you all for listening to me. Indeed, good to hear.